right, welcome to the very special episode 96 of Podcast Unlocked. You know who I am, Ryan McCaffrey. You know who that is, Destin Legary.
Hey, everybody.
This gentleman we've gotten to know very, very well this week, the last couple days. The one and only Peter Molyneux, the man behind Fable, Dungeon Keeper, Theme Park, Populous. What am I leaving out, Peter? Lots of stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
A long, very prosperous career.
Stuff. You must be sick of my voice by now. I'm sick of my voice.
But the thing is, every time I've ever interviewed you or dealt with you over my career, I always come back to the office and go, that Peter Molyneux, he's so charming. I could listen to him forever. You just have...
Well, that's why I have to, after things like this, I have to go back and be very cruel to animals. just to even things out.
But you're here. You've joined us for our Xbox reveal coverage, which we now know to be the Xbox One. Yeah. Microsoft threw everybody.
I think I like Cryptos better.
I know you were man on the streeting it in our man on the street video in the pre-show. You were interviewing folks. We got some people, got a lot of different responses, didn't you? But none of the choices were Xbox One because we didn't know.
I think one guy did like just Xbox.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought and was sort of looking for. Even Peter, you and I on the phone weeks ago, you agreed. You thought, you think it'd be just Xbox. It's back to Xbox in the way iPad.
Yes, and then the bastards added the one in just to be awful about it. I mean, I quite like the one.
Yeah,
because it's like a restart and.
It's kind of funny though that they went from the original Xbox to they didn't do Xbox 2 probably partially because. They had to match PlayStation 3. It couldn't. Xbox 2 would seem inferior to PlayStation 3, but now they've completely reversed course on that, and they're like, well, forget it. We don't care. PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Yes, we're going in the opposite direction.
Ryan, just so people don't think we have a laugh track, who else do we have with us today?
Well, I was getting to that, Destin. I was on my way. No, so it is May 21st as we record. This probably won't actually publish for a day or so while we get the sync up. We're going to put this out as a video podcast, actually, our first in a long, long time. And this will be a video podcast, especially worth watching. If you, in case you haven't had enough of my face on IGN, I know it's a lot to take in, but we have Peter Molyneux here, and we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we've another gentleman already had to go. So we had 9 loyal Podcast Unlocked IGN fans, Xbox fans. Welcome to all of you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So let's go around the room real quick. We've got a stick mic start. That's Zach.
Yeah, my name's Zach.
Where are you from, Zach?
I'm from.
Get that stick mic up.
I'm from Walnut Creek, California.
We got to know it's mostly local folks because we didn't have the budget to actually pay for any of you to come. So
I didn't have the budget to get out here unless it was barred anyway. So.
Zach, how long have you been playing Xbox?
Since pretty much the Xbox, I was going to say the Xbox One came out.
Can't say that anymore.
Yeah,
that's true.
I kept getting confused too.
We need to all universally agree. We have to either say first Xbox or OG Xbox. We got to go with one of those, right?
Yeah,
I like OG.
It's got to be OG.
OG Xbox. All right. So you've been playing since Xbox One?
Yeah, since the OG Xbox.
You played Fable 1, right?
I absolutely played Fable 1.
Correct answer.
Thank you.
I beat that game more than I'd beaten Shenmue, which is
Good or evil? Good or evil?
Do you keep it with you at all times?
I actually have it in my pocket right now.
Oh, wow.
And got it signed by one.
Yes.
Wow, there you go.
And this is never going on eBay. I'm keeping it for my life.
Good or evil, Zach? Good or evil hero?
Oh, I've played it so many times. I've done
Both?
it 4 times with both. But normally when I do a game the first time, it's always good first.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad about killing people I don't know, things like that.
It's interesting.
That was the trouble with the good evil choice is that everyone picked the good.
Really?
And they did. It was like 90% of people.
Peter, let me tell you. So the Fable 1, I went the most evil son of a bitch I possibly could. But Fable 2, when that dog came into the picture,
Yeah, you can do it.
Good, couldn't do it. Couldn't go bad anymore.
He's watching me.
Yeah,
He knows.
And could I, if you'd had like a crow or something, or if you'd had an aardvark, I suppose, would you have gone evil?
Well, and that was
what companion creature would force you down the evil path?
pretty much anything but a dog. Because we talked about this privately yesterday. I mean, the dog was the one thing that most humans are just have such an emotional attachment with that you're compelled to, and that's why you picked it.
Yeah, exactly, because we are genetically encoded to like dogs, and dogs have over the over the millennia have changed to
They've evolved
look
with us.
cute and you know, make us give them food and stuff like that. So,
Great. So Zach, let's pass the mic. Let's meet her. Is that Callie over there?
Yes.
Hello, Callie.
Hi, I'm Callie.
Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, but I go to Berkeley.
So you're a transplanted. You're a local, but not exactly.
Yeah, I live in Berkeley now.
Well, that's awesome. How long have you been playing Xbox?
Since the OG Xbox.
See, this is catching on already. This is good.
Yeah, it's got to be the official name.
What's your favorite original Xbox game? OG Xbox game? Besides Fable 1.
This is gonna sound super unoriginal, but it's got to be Halo because I remember
1 or 2.
1. The original Combat Evolves.
Yes.
I remember the day my dad brought it home. Vividly than I remember like what I had for breakfast this morning. And I just remember just playing the hell out of it with my little brother, and we really got close through Halo.
I mean, Peter, would you say, is it fair to say, I've said this many times over the years, we would not be sitting here right now talking about a third Xbox console without Halo Combat Evolved. There's no way that system would have survived, right? It would have gone the way of the Dreamcast.
Let's be absolutely clear. You know, everyone was predicting that Xbox was going to be the most dramatic failure of all time. And, you know, I can remember meeting someone senior from Sony and them laughing hysterically that Microsoft were going to mess up and they couldn't do it. They didn't understand anything. And that's what we kind of predicted until Halo came along. And then suddenly it just changed the whole game. And let's be clear about it. Up till that point, we defined first-person shooters in terms of Doom and Quake and you know, having lots of guns and fast switching with the keyboard. Everyone thought it was pretty impossible. And Bungie came along, they rewrote the rule book, and you know, the rest is history.
All right, who's our next? Who's sitting on the end here? Let's pass that mic one more time. I can't quite see your name.
Patrick.
Nice to meet you, sir. Where are you from?
From San Ramon, California, just across the bay.
All right, and how far back does your Xbox experience go?
So everyone.
He's laughing.
This. Yeah, everyone knows this. I've actually never owned an Xbox.
Really?
I've only played it at my uncle's houses or friends' houses, and like kind of Xbox One is pretty much probably will be my first Xbox.
See, already my brain did it.
Yes,
wait, Xbox. What is it?
That
No,
was
wait,
weird,
he's talking about the new one.
Yes,
Yeah.
I naturally thought, my God, he's going to get that cheap. You know, that's holding out for.
Well, all right. Of the games you've played, Patrick, give me your 1 or 2 favorite Xbox or 360 games.
Mostly Halo and the Forza series. Also, especially recently, Forza with the steering wheel totally beats Gran Turismo sometimes.
Like, are you talking about the hardcore force feedback steering wheel, right? Yeah, you don't mess around.
Oh no.
All right.
That is something else that Microsoft really did well, is that they went out after Gran Turismo, and we all thought it was impossible to beat Gran Turismo, and Forza has done it, and it's in spades.
I agree, and it's one thing. Gran Turismo, it's sort of a microcosm of the Sony and the PlayStation 3 generation. Gran Turismo kind of beat itself, right? I mean, you know, the same way Sony tripped up so many times with the PlayStation 3, at least early on, certainly, with the price point and the original version of that boomerang controller and all that. But Gran Turismo, when 5 finally came out, it was this sort of overly technical, almost soulless game. And I don't mean it's still a good game, but compared to like Forza 4, just had this spirit to it, and suddenly Forza was every bit the equal of Gran Turismo, at least in terms of quality of game, if not straight up sales. But then again, I mean, if you combine the sales of Forza 3, 4, and Horizon, which are the games that have all come out since GT5, they probably meet or exceed the sales of GT5.
You know, all those guys there, they absolutely love racing.
I love the way you say the word absolutely. Can you say that again?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can listen to that all day.
Now I'm paranoid.
Now I'm swooning over
is
here.
Is it the wrong way or the right way?
No, it's the perfect way. There isn't a better way to say that word on this earth. Let's go back. I see. Quentin, let's go. You got the mic in hand. Talk to me. Your name's Quentin. We know this. You stalked me on Twitter to get here.
Oh, really?
You did a good job, though. You did a good job. You're like, well, this guy, Quentin, he technically wasn't even invited. He just said, I'm coming up. So, and I felt bad. Like, you're coming up from LA. I'm like, all right, of course I'm going to let you in. So, you really wanted to be here. It is a pleasure to meet you. How long have you been playing Xbox?
Believe it or not, 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So, you're kind of, you know, in almost the majority of Xbox gamers who've really come to the system since it's blown up and become a mainstream successful thing. And I don't mean that as a knock at all. I'm just saying, you know, you're part of the newer wave of Xbox. Like, you don't have, like, you know, you don't have that super fond memory of Halo 1 like a lot of the real old school guys. So what are your give me a couple favorite games?
Don't call me old.
I've played Halo 1.
I'm old too.
I played Halo 1 with my brother, but I wasn't into shooters. I wasn't, you know, shooters. I used to get my butt whooped on GoldenEye. Shooters were not my thing.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I hate this. And then I remember playing Halo, and I was like, man, this is kind of fun. I'm not good at it, but it's fun. I'm playing with my brother, you know, what have you. But, you know, I'm originally from Miami, really rough place. We didn't have the money for it, so I didn't have any consoles until I was an adult and could buy it myself.
Right.
But I would play here and there, and I remember, I guess my fondest moment or my fondest memory would be actually, there's a tie. Halo 3.
Yep.
I remember when we were playing co-op, my brother and I, and we just got to the flood. Remember when you were walking, flood had just come down, and then you had to go through these buildings.
Yep.
And then there was a gate, and like one of the flood ran off, or you had to like shoot them to get like the skull or something.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you got to the entrance, the flood came out of nowhere, and there was like
Get that mic right up on.
Yeah, and there was
you go.
guys either dead or they were getting mauled by them, and then they took their bodies over, and that was like, man, that stuck out of my head.
Yeah.
And then the first Gears, I remember playing. I was like, man, this game is fun.
It is.
And I remember the first emergence hole, and we had to close it up. And again, I wasn't that good at games, so I'm like, what do I do? He's like, throw a grenade. I'm like, I don't know how to throw a grenade.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, they kept coming. So those are probably the most fondest memories of Xbox, period.
Awesome. Well, I want you to do me a favor since you're late to the Xbox party.
Wait.
I want you
One more question. Inverted or non-inverted controls?
Non-inverted.
Ah.
Yeah, not
Don't
inverted.
start this.
Don't
start this.
I can't do it, man.
We don't have all day, Destin. So
I'm all inverted.
So Quentin, since you're more recent to the Xbox party, I want you to go home and I want you to play Mirror's Edge, and then I want you to report back to me.
Watch walkthroughs. I've watched.
Hell yeah! All right, let's go over to Ross here. Ross is a guy who's been following me, I think, since the day I started my Twitter account, which was not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. Ross, you win the award for furthest traveled, I believe. You are here from where again?
From over 3,000 kilometers away
Kilometers.
in Toronto, Canada.
Only Peter understands what a kilometer is.
Yes, that's
And like
that's
Peter,
21st century
like
measurement.
Peter, we can speak the Queen's English north of the border.
Well, I love that you're here. I love that you've come out. Have you been to San Francisco before?
This is my second time in San Francisco, and
Nice.
it's a beautiful city. So
It is.
we picked a fine place to locate, and the weather.
Well, yesterday. Today was back to normal, but maybe for you it's awesome. So
It was snowing 2 weeks ago.
your Xbox history goes back a ways, right?
Yeah, we're talking the Duke era of the OG Xbox.
Hail to the king, baby. Different Duke. Favorite Xbox game, 1 or 3? Give me anything.
Sure. Okay. So I have very fond memories of Halo Combat Evolved, like Callie said.
Yes.
And I also got tremendous value when that. I remember how excited I was because I had to go to friends' houses with PS2s to play prior until the Grand Theft Auto Double Pack came to the Xbox.
2003.
And I got a lot of hours out of that thing, so I have fond memories of that.
Awesome. Well, let's go to, I think it's that Dallas back there, yeah. How you doing, Dallas?
Doing all right. How
Where are you from?
I'm from Dallas, actually.
Did you come here from Dallas?
Yeah.
But I stay in LA. I've been in LA for 5 years.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm originally from Dallas.
Where's,
I moved here from Dallas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We should talk after.
Texas is a big state.
Yeah.
When one of you drops, Rhode Island on me, I'll be impressed. No, so Dallas, how far back you go with Xbox?
So I did own the OG Xbox, but only just for a little while. 'Cause I just wanted to play Halo 1 and 2 before Halo 3 came out. I know it was backward compatible. I wanted to play the original version on the original
That
Xbox,
is impressive.
The OG
the pure
Xbox.
experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what's more recently? What's your favorite 360 game?
I would say the original Gears of War. Yes. I remember being back in college. Like, I got the system, I got the face plate, I got the skin, I got the big old. There was a big old Gears of War box. I got the controllers. I could get all out. And a friend and I, we played the whole game. Like, I think in one sitting in insane mode, and it was just crazy.
Beautiful.
We spent the whole night playing, and it was a lot of fun.
Beautiful.
Did you put the work in for the 10,000 kills on that one?
No.
I got to like 7,000 something. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm done. Yeah.
No. Just beating it was enough.
All right, let's go to it's Eric there, sitting closer to the mic. How you doing, Eric?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm well. Today is a great day. I gotta say, like, it's simultaneously fun, but also it's a relief too. I gotta say, because we've just been waiting for this. Peter, we talked about this on the air.
You were very jumpy.
For the love of God, this was supposed to happen in April, and it's been this generation has dragged on for so long, especially for those of us that are in it just day in and day out, which I am, you are, but all these guys are too. They read IGN, they play their games every day. Guys been waiting for a new system for so long, and unfortunately, this is it's going to be like this again. With Xbox One's going to be around. I mean, mark your calendar for what. Probably maybe 2021. We'll be looking at a new console.
hang on a second. I don't think they've got that luxury.
No?
Maybe that's why they called it the Xbox One, because they're going to.
It's the only one left.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to iterate faster than
yearly updates.
I hope you're right.
I mean, why not yearly? I mean, crikey, Apple do it, and
that would be
scary.
You would not survive. There isn't enough Valium in the world to keep you calm enough, because you would be on the edge of your seat. You'll be on your edge of your seat for the next race. And of course, Ryan, I feel sorry for you because you've only got a 19-day holiday, and then you're going to be sitting on the edge of your seat again for E3.
Well, but E3, I've been lucky enough I'm doing this 11 years, and E3 is my favorite time every year. It's a lot of work for IGN. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know you're like, oh, you get to go to E3, F you, you're working, but it's a lot of late nights, and it's a lot of literally running around.
Yeah.
You know how it. For your side, I actually feel worse for you guys, the developers. You're trapped in one booth for all day, little sweat box.
Yeah.
But
you're like it's like a little insane asylum. It's like you're being tested by these psychiatrists. In fact, there's a psychiatrist convention in San Francisco today. Did you know that?
I did not, but maybe you and I could stop by for a free.
There was lots of people walking
free
around
counseling
with
session,
looking at me. I'm worried.
But I mean, E3 is. I think E3, because I said this on the air too. I think today was part one, and they left it on the cliffhanger, and we're not really going to be able to cast judgment on the Xbox One until E3 in 20 days from now.
Well, for us, E3 is really exciting. We get to see all these new games and then talk about our feelings about them. What's it like for you, Peter, when you're revealing a new game and you see the reaction?
That's a good point.
It is absolutely terrifying. Because
it's
like a nuclear, it's like a nuclear arms race from developers. And you're getting these messages back, usually from journalists. And I always had the same question: what's good in the show?
Yeah.
And I obviously want them to say, well, nothing's good compared to what you're showing. No one ever says that. They say, oh, you've got to go and see this, you've got to go and see that, you've got to go the other. And then in your sort of 5-minute breaks, you're rushing around looking at other people's demos and thinking, oh God, why didn't we have more explosions? And there's not nearly enough heads being sawn off in our game. We've got to have, you're going to have more death. And
my memory fails me, Peter. Were any of the Fables unveiled for the first time at E3, or were they all announced or shown ahead of time, or at some other time? Was E3 ever the debut for one of the Fables, for any of them?
I don't think it was.
Don't think so.
But what it was on Fable 1 and Fable 2, and I think Fable 3, it was the first time there was hands-on playable, and that is the absolute terror.
So do you get competitive and you go, I've got the best game here, screw all these guys, or do you think, oh my goodness, that whomever Game X was incredible, what are we doing?
It's well, everyone's very nice to each other in the games industry.
Yeah, it's true.
And we never, there's never any backbiting or stuff like that. But then, when you get back to your hotel room and you close the door, you kind of scream, Christ, why? Why they're so brilliant, they're so fantastic. So it is competitive, but not face-to-face competitive. There's a lot of backslapping and saying, "Oh, you've got a fantastic demo there," and you just feel you come away from E3 slightly depressed that you should have done better. and I think every developer says the same. Right. You never come away from E3 feeling, wow, we've hit the nail on the head.
Really, never come back and be like, home run, dudes. We are on the right track.
Not really. There's always someone, normally a publication in Australia that finds something that you've done wrong or something like that. It's a scary time. And at the end of the day, there's all the journalists looking at it. They're incredibly important what they write and what their reaction is. And then you've got, and people forget about this, you've got all the retailers walking around, literally marking down in a book
what we're going to buy,
how many they're going to buy.
Yeah.
And if you piss off one of those, that's it. You're going to get nothing.
Well, for a short time anyway, until we cut them out and go digital distribution only. But not this console. Still buying games on Blu-ray. So we left Eric over there holding the mic.
Yes.
Eric, where were you from again? Where did you tell me?
I'm from Vallejo, California. So
you're from here.
An hour away.
Excellent. Now, how long have you been playing Xbox?
Since the OG.
Since the OG. Are we talking launch day OG or just at what
launch
point?
Day.
Launch day.
Yeah.
So,
well
done.
Nice.
November 15th, 2001. So you no doubt bought Halo on day one.
Yeah.
Did you buy anything else?
At
Azuric?
No,
Come on. No.
I was young, so there was no other buying.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
Here's an interesting question. What made you buy the Xbox? Because PlayStation was so dominant, and Nintendo as well.
Good question.
What caught your interest?
It was something different, because you had Sony going one way with their games, and when I was playing my PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, it was all RPGs, and even for the Nintendo, it was all RPGs.
Yep.
And then when I got the Xbox, the first one, and it was Halo being a shooter, it was just something different for me to try and experience something, and it actually brought out something different, and it was a really good experience for me, so I really enjoyed it.
That was the genius of Bungie. You see, they at that time, when publishers decide to greenlight a project and pay a lot of money, they usually have this pie chart in front of them, which is games industry by genre, and they look at it and say, well, what genre is your game in?
Well, we've got enough of these already.
Yeah, and it's never that. They look at the pie chart and say, you're only in a 5% segment. I'm sorry, we can't do it.
Wow.
And for shooters at that time on console would have been a very small little segment. So it was very brave of Bungie to do what they did, and very brave of Microsoft, of course.
Well, let's go to last but not least. Let's go to Josh in the back. How you doing, Josh?
I'm hiding back here.
You're not hiding. You're just behind Destin's giant head for me. That's.
I've been told I have a big head.
Not as big as Dan Stapleton, but it's a good sized noggin. So
Danny said that.
He knows. Dan gets crap all the time for his skull. So how long have you been playing Xbox?
Well, I'm from San Diego. I've been playing the Xbox since 2002. I actually traded in my PS2 to get an Xbox.
Oh, wow.
Nice. You went all in then. You made the bet.
Yeah, I mean, I was 17. I was tired of all my friends playing Halo and me sitting on the sidelines. And, I decided, what, I got to do this. I really liked it. And, my fondest memories from Halo is just getting the 16 of us together at a friend's house, pizzas, all night, Halo, just balls to the wall. It's crazy.
Love it. Well, so we're all here today for the Xbox One, what we thought would be the Xbox Infinity, but was in fact the Xbox One. It is always connected, but maybe we're still not entirely sure if it has to always be online.
It sounds like you have to connect once a day. But we don't know because there's conflicting reports.
This is literally developing as we speak. Yeah. We can't get a straight answer as of yet, but we will hash this out in the near future. It is an 8 gigabyte of RAM machine with 802.11n Wi-Fi, which is what the Slim has in it now.
USB 3.0.
USB 3, Blu-ray drive, of course, a half a terabyte hard drive, 500 gigs, and the Kinect camera, and bundled with every system, is 1080p capable and apparently operates Destiny 2 feet closer or 2 feet away. Was it? Somebody was telling me that.
One thing I did not pay attention to was the Kinect story.
I think it was 4 feet closer.
You can talk to it. You can you can grab it and do this. I know that.
Yeah, 4 feet close. I think it works 4 feet closer, so up to 2 feet from it is what I believe the guys were telling me earlier.
So that far, what's that in meters?
You're talking to I'm an ignorant American, Peter. I'm the wrong guy to ask.
No, 70 centimeters?
So
does that work?
Let's see. That's about 2 feet right there.
Yeah. It's King George II's foot size. That's where a foot comes from. So it's about that much. I don't know if that's possible with Kinect.
Well, apparently it is. That's
so.
What do we think, real quick, guys? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Well, actually, or make some noise or don't. Boo or cheer. How about the look of the console? You guys, yes? Yeah? Everybody liking the look of it?
Yeah.
Destin?
It looks like it's the size of my receiver at home. Like, it looks gigantic. And that
it is a receiver.
A little bit. It
is a receiver.
So it's going to be huge. Where am I going to put that in comparison to all my stuff?
Just in the office a little while ago, a couple of the guys were complaining about this. I said, okay, let me check this, because we were looking at a still photograph, with Don Matrick being interviewed, and then it had the console on that stand, and it looked so the controller was, or rather the console was about the height of the controller standing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed a slim Xbox 360 and a controller, because the controller is about the same size.
Yeah.
So it appears that it is about an inch thicker. As far if you're laying
That's
it horizontally,
a lot of space.
It's a lot, but it's so that kind of puts it back as far as the height off the ground horizontally. That puts it back into Xbox One territory. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be. It's smaller. It's not as large as the Xbox One is, but it's between the 360 and not the Xbox One, the OG Xbox.
Yes.
Myself. So, but yeah, everybody. I mean, I agree. I agree with you guys. I thought the look of it's pretty cool.
I like the look. Concerned about the size.
But, I mean, do you really? What difference does that make, though? Really,
it's huge. We live in San Francisco, where I don't have a ton of space.
Well,
I don't have space for my Kinect.
6 extra inches on your shelf.
I got a PS3, a Wii U that I never use, a 360.
So you're unhooking the Wii U. Who cares?
I'm probably
You're probably maybe not unhooking the 360 for a while, because it's no backwards compatibility. We've been able to. But
I keep all my consoles, so I still have an Xbox One on my shelf.
Now, do you guys in the peanut gallery back there? Do you guys trade in consoles to get the next one? Any of you guys? Sometimes. Never. So you guys don't care if it's backwards compatible, right? Because you've still got your system. See, I agree. I think backwards compatibility. Peter, tell me what you think on the developer side. It's one of those things that sounds good, but ultimately nobody ever really cares once the new system is out. Except for Destin.
Yeah, it's they used to on the 360 side. They really were worried about backwards compatibility,
right?
And that's why they put an enormous amount of investment in making these emulators to get backwards compatibility. The unfortunate thing is, by the time they got it all sorted out,
no one cared anymore
about it, because the games were so much better. Here's the point, though: if the games don't look that much better on the Xbox One, then I can see backwards compatibility being more important, because you wouldn't want to double down and buy them again.
Right.
But you're right. If you've got a 360,
keep it.
Just keep it. It is messy though, unplugging and plugging in. Will you be able to plug your Xbox 360 into your Xbox One and say Xbox 360 to the Xbox One?
There's an interesting question.
Xbox One, Xbox 360.
That's meta.
Yeah. My head just exploded. So,
Peter, can I actually ask you a question? Do you happen to know how many people actually used backwards compatibility on the 360?
I don't think that. I never saw an analysis of it. It was something which Nintendo originally were the ones that really, banged on about backwards compatibility and how important it was, and it had to be backwards compatible, and Sony begrudgingly did incorporated in the
PS2,
the PS1 hardware, so they could have backwards compatibility. But I kind of agree with you guys. I don't want the old games. I want the new games. That's why I'm buying $300 console.
So, Zach, talk to me.
My argument is that with the implementation of things like achievements...
Get that mic nice and close. There you go.
With the implementation of achievements and whatnot, there's more value into going back and playing games. Like, I find value in getting achievements because I like that extra... going out and getting that extra thing for that game. So going back and playing those things to get more score and to get more points is a bigger drive for me than just go back and experience something. To get something to show that I did that actually.
Except for the part where it's all one gamer profile. So if you've got your gamer card, you've got your profile on Xbox One, you're adding achievement points to that. You go back and play 360, those points are still going to add on to the same account. So no worries, right?
I just feel like it's a
I
better
took his mic, I'm sorry.
I feel like it's a better motivator to go back and play the older games because you have something attainable there. It's not just a game save anymore. It's I don't know what's the right word. It's almost like a belt you wear showing what you've done in your accomplishments.
Well, let's hear from Quentin over there. He's got something to say on this topic.
Yeah, I don't care anything about that. The reason being is me being an Xbox supporter, and this is, I'm sure y'all tired of me beating this horse, but me as an Xbox supporter, I support the business decisions that Xbox makes, and it being backwards compatible is a bad business decision because what it does is it slows down the sales of the new Xbox One. If it's backwards compatible, some people say, well, then I'll just wait. Yeah, I'll just wait. No one, developers won't take a risk in creating Xbox One games because they're still doing Xbox 360 games because, hey, well, it'll be playable on the Xbox One. Well, and I feel like it's going to slow down the sales of the Xbox One because people are still playing their old ones, and even if they do buy the new one, no one's gonna buy the newer games. It takes away a group of people that if it wasn't backwards compatible, they would be playing Xbox One games instead. They're gonna keep playing their Xbox 360 games. So
all right, real quick to Dallas in the back, and then we got to move on to the next point here. Go ahead.
So I did own an Xbox 360 to play games like Gears of War, but I eventually sold it because I liked the exclusives of PS3. But I eventually wanted to play the exclusives of the Xbox, so I missed like Alan Wake. I missed there's some other ones I can't think of them right now. But so if they don't do backwards compatibility, it would be nice if they did like a digital download, or like like the PS2 classics or the PS1 classics for PS.
Well, and they did allude to that too.
Because let's say someone never got a 360 and they ended up getting the Xbox One. Like, there's so many games that they can end up playing that they missed out on. So I wish they would do something like that.
I mean, that's true. It's and now it's nobody. They're both going to be in the same boat because PS4 is not doing backwards compatibility either. So we'll see. And
then there is this new trend to do this remastering, isn't it?
Yes.
Which of course is even more. Is less compulsive if you've got backwards compatibility.
That's true.
To go back and play.
That's true. Callie, real quick.
Well, my opinion on backwards compatibility is it's a nostalgia thing for me, and that kind of, I think that's more of a Nintendo thing than an Xbox thing, just because the Xbox was later than my,
But what about the
SNES.
kids that grew up on Xbox?
Well, but for me personally, that's why I don't care.
So the controller, yay or nay on the controller from looking at it? It looks really cool,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And Destiny.
No, I'm good on the controller. I'm very happy. I'm so happy there's rumble in the triggers. That's something I've been waiting for years. I don't know about you guys. No, I'm being sarcastic, but all in all, I'm excited about the controller.
The funny thing is that I think those triggers are going to be really cool because they're programmable. So if we can start to adjust, I've always wanted this, is to have control over the the tactile feel of a trigger. would be really cool.
Very cool.
For that.
So like some feedback of how much you're pressing on a brake or on the gas.
And I don't know
that's
what
a good point.
It's going to do this, but if it was a way, if there was a way of increasing the amount of pressure you have to push on the trigger, that would be brilliant. You know, for the feel of a gun would change because of the trigger.
Right. 1,000 person friends lists. I take it everybody approves of that, right?
That sounds
good. It's about damn time. No swappable hard drive. That 500 gig.
But it does support external hard drives.
Exactly. So you can buy a
2 terabyte
external
for like $100
drive.
Yeah.
No problem. Now let's talk about so a lot of Kinect integration, but into the OS and the services itself.
The 3 OSs.
The 3 operating systems running in tandem. Fast switching. You guys like the idea of being able to pop between TV and a game real quick?
Yeah.
If I can use the internet to look up a guide while playing a game.
Get that mic on, Zach.
No, sorry. If I can pinch my game the way they were showing, pull up the Internet Explorer on the side of it, and have that game's wiki.
IGN.com/wikis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then while I'm playing the game, and I can have the information on screen that I'm looking for. That is a huge step forward.
So
and I think
that's a super good point because you guys are going to have to do a new form factor for your playthrough.
More work for us. Jesus, Microsoft, come on. Where was I just going to go with that? So everyone here is probably burned out on Kinect as it is now. Did the new Kinect sell you guys at all? Ross is shaking your head no. Get that mic on Ross. We haven't heard from him.
I find speaking up to my Xbox more cumbersome than just flicking an analog stick left and right. In the time that I say Xbox to get its attention, I could have coasted through the whole menu. And
fair. Absolutely.
I also jokingly said to the guys earlier that I hope someone doesn't yell, put on TV or something and have the Xbox respond.
I have that problem with my Kinect now where it'll randomly do something I don't want it to. I'm like, no, shut up. Like I'm watching a movie. Or like it'll pick up the movie from my speakers sometimes,
right?
And it'll activate, and I really dislike that.
There's some keywords there.
Now they did say
Are you watching a movie that just goes?
I was watching Avatar, and for some reason there was something in one of the episodes that made it pop up.
Not the overly long film.
No,
cartoon.
The cartoon. It's on Netflix. So yeah.
Well, this is a real opportunity for advertisers. They could have an advert that controls your Xbox.
Oh no! Don't give them ideas.
There you go.
Ixnay on the advertisements, Peter. But yeah, I do. I'm just glad. I do think this Kinect is going to be what the first Kinect should have been, and whether or not it ends up useful in games is still to be determined. Josh,
imagine Metal Gear Psycho Mantis. Except this time he's like Xbox One, and then he brings up like a weird website or something.
Or he just starts talking and says Xbox TV and
Josh.
finishes the game and he kills you.
Yeah. The one thing that I was actually really impressed by, and we'll see if it really is this fluid, is that how fast Xbox TV, Xbox this, it went really really quick. And one thing that I always notice that when I'm watching something like Netflix, is that by the time I finish an episode, maybe I don't want to watch it or I want to skip to a different episode, my Xbox controller is already turned off. If I can just be like Xbox next episode or Xbox this, that would be really nice.
That's true.
And with things with like sports, I like to watch the baseball game or the basketball game, and I like to have my Xbox on at the same time. If I can just simply say Xbox this, go right to it, that's actually easier than grabbing my remote controller, changing the input a couple times.
Fantasy, all that fantasy sports stuff they talked about. Does that get you guys going? Yay or nay?
I don't care about sports, but you guys are sports guys. Yeah. Like, are you excited about that?
I think that could be fun because I do sit there, I watch a baseball game, and then I'll be like, all right, let me see how my fantasy team's doing. If the Xbox can do that for me, I'm into that.
Do you have a fantasy team, Josh?
Yeah, I do fantasy football. I've tried some other fantasy, but not so good. But I am actually very interested in the fantasy thing. The only issue I have with that, especially with the NFL one, was that it's probably only fantasy football through NFL.com. Mm-hmm. And if it's only through one service, it's going to be hard if you play with people that do not own an Xbox to change them from a different service.
Fair point.
So that's the only issue I have.
Point.
Otherwise, I'm very interested in it.
A very, very good point.
Let's see. So let's get to the games themselves. What few
all
were
of them.
today. Yeah, all two.
Where
of them.
Where do we start?
Okay. Was everyone else as asleep as I was during the EA stuff?
Oh,
no. Josh, hold on. I know we've been hearing. You were into that?
Very much so.
I
love FIFA, so I mean that's a huge thing.
High five and Quentin. Yeah.
I mean, I do like sports games. I don't have a problem with them. I mean, it didn't really show me too much.
Yeah.
But I was definitely impressed that, hopefully we don't go through what happened from the Xbox to the Xbox 360 with sports games, because Madden 06 was an atrocity.
It was terrible.
So, well, actually, you bring up a good point. I think I tweeted this, or I don't think I actually got to it on our post-game show, but so EA said that those 4 games, FIFA, Madden, or NBA Live coming back. Good luck with that against NBA 2K at this point. And then UFC, that was the 4th one. They said those would all be out within 12 months. Now, unless they meant 12 months from launch, if it's 12 months from now, that means Madden has to be a launch title, because 12 months from, Madden comes out in August, and 12 months from now is May. So I think that's huge. If and I'm sure PS4 would have it too, but to have next gen Madden out this year, I think would be a real big deal. Ross,
but did you see all the polygons?
Risk of sounding extremely Canadian, no mention of NHL.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. EA 360 didn't get an NHL that first year. They waited until they developed it from scratch for this generation and then put it out on 360 PS3 in 2006, right? Or did they wait? 07, right? So, they missed a year. So, it'll be interesting to see. Because, NHL is like their highest rated series, but it certainly doesn't sell anywhere on the order of magnitude that FIFA or Madden does, either of the football games. So then as soon as they started talking about Remedy, and I was like, oh, here we go, Alan Wake 2. Been waiting for this for a long time. And then they drop Quantum Break on me. I'm like, okay. I would have loved more Alan Wake. I would love to have seen more in that series, but all right, let's see what they've got. And
so Quantum Break, everybody keeps mistakenly calling it Quantic Dream, which is the PS3 guys making Beyond Two Souls
and Heavy Rain.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a bit of an issue for the game.
Well, the game even kind of reminded me of Beyond Two Souls. Yep. So it's like a little kid with some sort of weird powers that, but this was interesting. It mixes live action stuff. The Xbox TV. We'll talk about the Halo TV project in a minute, see if you guys are interested in that. But it mixes live action stuff with Remedy-made gameplay.
It's a Goosebumps book. It's a choose-your-own-adventure Goosebumps book where you get a scenario, and based on your decisions, you'll get a different outcome in the TV show.
Right.
So I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm interested. I'll try it out, but I'll see how it goes.
Alan Wake, you were a fan.
I was a real fan of Alan Wake.
Are you sad that it's not Alan Wake 2? Are you?
I kind of sad, because I think those guys had a long plan for Alan Wake.
Yeah.
And it was a real arc they were thinking about, and I think there were lots of references in Alan Wake for the future of what it could become. So a little bit sad about that. I think Quantum is a cool concept.
Yes.
And perhaps I know a little bit more than I should know about it, which I shouldn't.
You did used to work. You did run Microsoft Game Studios in Europe, after all. So, and that is a European developer.
And they are, and they're very talented. They've got a sauna in their studio.
Interesting.
When I went to visit them,
we don't have a sauna.
No, you don't.
We need to get that.
But they're very Scandinavian. They said, "Do you want to take a sauna with us?" And for English people can never be naked at any time. Just point that out.
By the way, I will point out the incredible hypocrisy that we're saying we wanted Alan Wake 2, yet we cry all day about wanting new IPs, and here they have given them. So I'm aware of that. But
on new IPs, we're getting 8.
Yeah, so let's get to that, Destin.
Yes,
so
8,
we don't get any games today except for just a couple. But Forza Motorsport 5, by the way. So who thinks the Forza 5 footage was real game footage?
They said it was.
They said it was, but see, I'm
no way.
Let's hear from Quentin real quick. I just want to see, because I'm skeptical. It had that sheen, that CG sheen.
It was real footage.
It
looked like maybe it could have been an engine, but it didn't look like that was gameplay. Like someone was racing.
Well, certainly not.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, because there's ways of getting the game to look fantastic if you're not playing the game, and then there's playing the game.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Forza fan, and it didn't knock my socks off like I thought it would. I remember watching the PlayStation reveal, and when they showed Drive Club, man, I was like, "Yeah, what is this?" And then when I saw the Forza, I'm just like,
"It's two cars going down the street."
Dude, you're knocking the wind out of our sails, man. Like, come on, like that's not even their main, that's not even their main driving dev. And
no, it is. Turn 10 Studios.
No. What I'm saying is,
Sony for Drive Club. Yeah.
That's not even their main dev for their drive. That's not Gran Turismo. And it's Polyphony. Like, man, what I saw, it's like, man, you could have came with something better than that. That didn't do it justice.
I'm interested to know, what could they have done? Because this is the problem when you're in that far down into a franchise. Just how do you blow people away?
And the way you do that, because we all know that their mechanics are great. We know that the way the cars feel, the way they sound, it's all great. But it's presentation. It really is. The way Drive Club was presented. I mean, I don't know anything about the game. The game could handle like crap. But the way it was presented really made me go, oh,
so
yeah.
I think a little bit of first-person in-car footage would have gone a long way, right? Made it a little feel more real. Actually, is it Patrick? Are you the one with the Forza setup at home?
Well, not at home, but I've done I used to work at Ryse, and we used to have that demo up, and I used to play that all day during my breaks and stuff like that. And then I had a friend who had an Xbox and that set up with a really good steering wheel, like a $300 steering wheel.
Yeah.
So that's what. I agree with Quinn. Like where Drive Club really shined to me. Also, was like there was a lot of like social stuff with them, sharing your stuff. And granted, it's maybe too early for Forza 5 to.
Yeah, I think we're gonna find out a lot more about Forza at E3. Like a lot. I think I'm gonna be playing Forza at E3, reporting a ton of stuff to you guys about that.
That was the problem with Forza. He nailed it on the head. They showed social stuff for the Drive Club game. They just showed us another racer. We know it's a racer. We know you're going to race two cars. What's special about it?
Right.
And they didn't tell us that.
So Forza 5, by the way, is confirmed. That is the one confirmed. There's a launch title, Forza Motorsport 5. Go ahead there, Eric.
The one thing that bothered me about what was going on during the conference itself and the reveal was they were showing off gameplay footage for things that we know are going to actually be on the PS4 as well.
Right.
When I would have rather them spent time on more exclusives. Yes, they gave us 15. Yeah, they gave us there will be 8 new IPs.
Yeah.
But today, which is why I'm still willing to give them a chance to, for E3 to show it off. But at the same time, today
you're right. I mean,
are you talking about Ghosts?
Yeah.
So we saw Forza Motorsport 5, we saw Quantum Break, we saw Call of Duty Ghosts, and then we saw a weird tech target render montage of EA Sports that reminded me of that one from 2005 with Donovan McNabb and Michael Strahan in the snow that, of course, was never even came close to coming true, and that's what I think this was, too, is we'll never see that. But the question is it Ghosts ported down by probably another studio, or do you think they would maybe do a Modern Warfare 4 for current gen and make Ghosts the next gen sub-franchise?
Because I was listening to it and he kept saying next generation.
Yeah.
But it was our next generation engine.
Yes.
It wasn't the next generation we're going to put our engine on. So I think it's an engine for
both
the 360 platform that is upraised for
the. This is why. You are trained. You said it many times on both the pre and post show that every single word of these presentations is gone over with a fine-tooth comb over and over again. Every word is so carefully chosen, and you're right. Your trained ear caught that, and I think you're right. So the question is, how ported down will the current gen versions of Ghosts be? Ghosts, plural. And who's doing it, because it's certainly not Infinity Ward.
Or the other way of looking at it, how ported up will it be?
I don't. I don't want to look at it that way. I'd rather
think that
let's
way,
Let's aim high, and hopefully we're porting down and not port, because porting up that's no good, right? You know this as a developer. You don't want to port up.
You know, if they've got really great tech people, then nowadays you're not talking about, you know, a totally different chipset,
right?
A totally different memory architecture. You're talking about a kind of fairly well understood, you know, we can guess how it's going to work, so you can optimize for that. And, you know, so I reckon when they're building something new, which they must have been working on it for quite a few years, when you're building something new, you can make the assumptions about the future.
Let's go to Quentin real quick.
Yeah, I have a different theory. I think they for the current gen, I think they stay with IW. Was it 5 or 6?
4.
4. Is it 4?
It would be Modern Warfare 4.
No. I meant the engine. I think they stay with they do Call of Duty Ghost on the current engine for PS3.
I see what you mean.
PS3.
Yeah, possibly so.
Because why? Like you said,
they've got an engine that works.
They have
an
engine that works.
Yeah.
Why would you tinker with this new engine and then try and port it?
You make a very good point.
That's a lot of work, though, right?
That's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work.
You've got to develop two whole streams.
You
of
spread
bugs
yourself
and
thin,
problems,
and then if you get another developer to work on the IW engine and they screw it up,
yeah, I think. See, you know, how about this? Let me throw this out there. I've heard this through the grapevine. I don't know if there's any accuracy to it. Neversoft is an Activision-owned developer that we haven't heard from in quite some time. I suspect maybe they are involved in Call of Duty somehow this year.
I can't really speak on that.
They're adding skateboards.
Let's go to Ross real fast.
That sort of reminds me of when the 360 came out, and there was Splinter Cell Double Agent, one by, I believe it was Shanghai. By Montreal.
Correct. Good memory.
And I think that's kind of what you're alluding to there when you mentioned Neversoft.
Yeah, although that was a more clear. They were very clear and upfront about that from the get-go. Like, we have a 360 version. That's our lead thing being done out of Shanghai, and then we do have a then current gen version being done out of Montreal. The current gen version ended up being the better one. That's the one that had co-op mode in it. But I saw one. I had a hand up over here. Zach.
I just kind of brain farted on what we were.
All right, no problem. So we'll get back to you. So 15.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Can I continue my thought?
Quickly, Zach.
So didn't Activision open up another studio to make Call of Duty games last year? Wasn't that Sledgehammer?
And they are here. They are just down the way in Foster City, California, here in the San Francisco Bay Area.
So I think Infinity Ward's moved on to bigger and better things. Then they've done their share with Modern Warfare. That in itself is a brand now, though, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Sure.
So
it absolutely is.
I think that, what else are they doing? They've been doing the map packs for Modern Warfare
and
for years
they were very involved in finishing Modern Warfare 3 alongside Infinity Ward because, of course, Infinity... Peter, could you imagine the development scenario for Modern Warfare 3 in the when that scandal broke with Vince Zampella and Jason West, and that entire studio basically crumbled. So many people left in the middle of the project, and it took Raven Software and it took Sledgehammer Games and it took an army to get that game done on time. You know, I didn't care for Modern Warfare 3 very much, but I don't hold it against them because they made a very good game considering the unbelievable circumstances they had to work under.
It's a complete nightmare because, taking someone else's code, taking someone else's assets and mixing it together and finishing off that, it's almost impossible.
Right. So 15 games, first-party exclusives in the first 12 months of the console's release. 8 of them new IPs, leaving the other half 7 of them.
Is Quantum Break one of the new IPs?
It absolutely is. Yeah, definitely.
So 7 more to be revealed.
7 more, and Forza is obviously one of the 7 existing franchises.
So 13 more to be revealed.
Halo 5 being one of the other ones. I'm not saying we'll see it at E3 because we won't.
Yeah. They got to talk about TV first. They got to talk about the TV Halo.
We'll get there. Will Gears of War?
No. I'm saying that's what they'll have at the E3. They won't show a new Halo game. They'll talk about the Halo TV series, I think.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about that now then, real quick. So, Halo TV, yay or nay? Yeah. Spielberg producing? Yeah. Yes. I see thumbs up. Everybody happy? Nobody. So, as Is that something that will keep you guys subscribing to Xbox Live Gold? If there is original programming like a Halo TV series on the service,
if it's a Master Chief show,
show.
If it's about the UNSC Space Corps, I do not care.
Don't care.
That's a good point.
I do not care about Forward Unto Dawn until Master Chief showed up.
Let's go to Dallas over there.
They weren't really clear about what Steven Spielberg's role will be.
Of course not.
If he's going to be the producer, if he's going to be the writer and like director and like really be involved, that'll be excellent. But I think it'll be a great series anyway. And also, I wonder if it's going to be exclusive to the Xbox One or if 360 users will also be able to access that.
I would suspect the former. They need to drive people to the new console, and this is a way to do that.
360 has too much of an install base. They're not going to cut out those users. Unless they're trying to drive sales. I mean, that's a big bet to make.
I don't know. I could. Peter, what do you think? There's a case to be made either way, right?
There's this problem, as I think we discussed this, is that what happens when you are trying to hire talent. You want to say, you're going to be seen by millions of people, and if they cut off their 360 or their 360 users, then it's going to take years to get up to the tens of millions. Maybe.
Right.
It's a tough choice.
If it's you making the call, do you make that Xbox TV? Do you make that Halo TV available to Xbox 360 users, or do you hold that as a carrot on the end of the stick to get folks to buy the Xbox One?
I think it's all about the exclusive introductory period. If you have it coming out first on Xbox One for a month, that's going to make me go and buy quickly, and then a month afterwards, it's open to 360.
And that makes a guy like Spielberg happy too.
Yeah.
And Spielberg, he made Boomblocks, right?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's willing to place bets on like consoles or like try new things. So I think he'd be game.
Yeah.
Quinn?
So to kind of go to that, I totally agree with the month exclusivity, and then putting it on Xbox 360 because of the install base. What I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, when Halo 4 was announced the E3 was announced the E3 year before it actually came out, correct? So it was announced, then it was another E3, and then it was released, correct? So if we go by timeline, I feel that they talk more about the Xbox. The Halo the series.
Yep.
I feel they talk about that. But I think it only makes sense have this thing lead up into Halo 5, which will help sell systems, because what you do is, like you said, have that exclusivity on Xbox One, and then make sure that the 360 community sees it.
Yeah.
Because if it's leading up and it's telling a story leading up to Halo 5, they can't buy Halo 5 on
Excellent
360.
point.
Then it's going to sell more Xbox Ones because of Halo 5, because they're seeing they're watching it.
And to that point, it's the holiday after the launch that the really big problem is, because that's when because everyone's wowed by this new black thing that they can buy. And we know we're going to go out and buy it. There'll be a few million of us. That's not the problem. The problem is the next holiday, when you've really got to surprise.
Now for 360. That problem was solved by Gears of War. That came out the holiday after launch, and it was amazing. Yeah. And we all were like, "Wow, this is a next generation experience."
Yeah.
So that I think we're looking at Halo 2 anniversary for holiday 2014.
I just don't think that's big enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying as the flagship thing. I'm just saying as one of the.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we get anniversaries of a lot of the franchises. I mean, it's going to be. I think this is going to be a regular thing now. There'll probably be a Fable anniversary.
Scoop.
I don't know. I'm not.
How about? Let's see. How do you guys feel? What if I talked about this on the post-game show? Ryse, the Kinect Roman Emperor, Roman Gladiator game. Kinect. Do you guys care?
It's not even on my radar, honestly.
I do. I remember when they first announced it. I remember seeing it. I was like, "Yo, this is smooth right here. This looks cool." But then, you know, it went to the back burner. You heard nothing of it, and then when they said, hey, it was coming back out, then there was all these little rumors about, hey, the new Kinect is supposed to, you know, be powered with. It's supposed to have its own chipset. It's going to be more powerful. It's going to see you better. So I'm like, hey, this game might actually be playable because it can track you in space. It can track your hand movements. It can track you better so you can have a better experience. And I feel like for a Kinect game that's immersive, I'd get up and play that. I you know, I'm a huge, you know, 300 fan. I'd play the hell out of that. You know,
it was like a 300. It was supposed to be, you know, like 300. But here's the question: if Ryse came back, but it was controller based, would that be more exciting?
Well, I think the core gamers would be much happier, depending what it was. Josh.
Yeah, I think that's you just basically said what I was going to say. Is like that's really what the core gamers are really going to want. If there's a game that's going to get them interested, me interested, anyone in this room interested, is something like that. You know, I don't think anyone's sitting on the edge of their seat to see Dance Central 4 come out, or, you know, Kinect Sports Season 3. I mean, that's not really what we're looking for. So if there's a game that can, you know, really grab us, then, you know, I'm more than excited for that.
I think Ryse will do it.
We've barely heard from Callie over there. Let's. Are you?
She's just shy. She's over there like. She's just shy.
What games do you need to see off this new Xbox, Callie?
At first, I have to say, because it's been bothering me, that I was really bothered by when they were showing. I know we haven't gotten to Ghosts yet, but the character customization, and there weren't any girls, and I was disappointed.
I agree. I just
no, you're absolutely right.
I just don't think it's good enough in today's world not to do that.
It's not even like a sexism thing for me, though. It is kind of weird. It's just kind of like, this is next gen. Can we?
Exactly.
Like, I want to play as a girl.
No, you're absolutely right.
And also, they have this new dog model. It's like you couldn't get a woman.
But it could be a female dog. There you go. They could get us out there.
I'll latch onto that.
The mic is being passed. Hot topic here.
I got something to say to that. So you got to be careful as a company when you do something like that, or you decide if that's something you want to do, because that would be awesome. Like I was talking to a couple of people around the office, like, yeah, we need more diversity as far as the gaming community. You know, there needs to be other voices than the one demographic that IGN, you know, focuses on. I wouldn't say focuses on, but it attracts the most. There needs to be more women. There needs to be different races and all of that. And I agree with you. Here's where it gets messy. This is a violent game. If there's a female model and you can see her face, and then to shoot her in the face, the violence against women for some groups, I think that would create enough of a uncomfortableness that it may put them in a situation where, you know, people are protesting it and all of this, because you shoot a woman in the face, or you walk up behind her and then you knife her.
Let's go back to Callie.
Yeah, let's talk about Tomb Raider too. Tomb Raider just came out.
Well, no. Let's keep it focused on Xbox One here.
What's about female?
I think the idea that women are too fragile to be shot in the face is sexist in itself. I think that if I want to play as a girl and I want to see.
Quentin wasn't saying that, but he was saying, he was saying there are people out there who will suddenly, Fox News will latch onto you are knifing a woman in the throat.
Except that Hollywood, there's a huge number of incredibly strong female leads coming out now, and we don't really have the equivalent.
Zero Dark 30
But I think we need.
It's interesting, Peter. You're a guy who has included female playable characters. You have included same-sex marriage in your games, and no one batted an eyelash. Really, you made in your game. Well, no one. I would say I didn't see Fable on Fox News or CNN or any of these things. No. So you're a guy who you obviously you don't. I mean, I'm not saying you don't care how people react, but you clearly are confident in your conviction, and you're going to
absolutely. The human race is incredibly diverse, and it would be insane not to use that diversity, and that includes all sorts of types of people and preferences and beliefs and ethnic types and gender. I think that's just something to be celebrated.
Well, what I was saying before about Tomb Raider was we just saw a strong female lead in a video game, and there was a lot of violent stuff that happened to her, we didn't see a big uproar about it. So there's no reason that I don't think we couldn't see a strong female lead in Call of Duty.
Callie. I think it
just going back to what Quentin was saying about people getting upset. I think no matter what, people are going to get upset.
Oh, that's true.
If you don't include women in your game, feminists are going to get upset. If you do include them, someone's always going to get upset. But what bothered me was I thought the game looked interesting. It's been a while since I've picked up a Call of Duty game because it got exhausting for me.
Right.
And this is one that I was considering picking up, and it would have been cool if I can customize my character to customize someone that actually represents me. And that's what bothered me was I'm now alienated from this game in a way that I don't have to be.
Right.
Even if you don't want to include, for whatever reason, other women in the game, I don't know. It was that bothered me mostly. It was why can't I?
No, we did
say it, but they didn't show it
either. We did actually, at least Microsoft. There were a couple of very prominent female presenters at the Microsoft event. Did that resonate with you? I mean, these are women that are in charge of major studios, and so there's some good diversity represented there.
Yeah, what I noticed with that was because Sony had no female presenters,
right?
Which was something I picked up on when I watched that presentation. And though I don't think you should include women just for the sake of including women, it was nice to see some that weren't there to dance on stage or something, and that's always nice to see. I mean, it's not a huge issue with me if women aren't able to present, then what, but to see it is really encouraging.
Yeah, and actually Bonnie is a super smart woman.
Oh,
she's in charge of 343, and then Kiki
Wolfgill
is the studio head, and she is amazing.
Yeah, women. For those of you out there who may be chauvinist pigs, possibly, women control Halo. Women are running Halo, so deal with it. So that's really all we saw. Games-wise, we saw those few the EA Sports stuff, we saw Call of Duty Ghosts, and then we saw Forza Motorsport, and we saw Quantum Break, and the rest is going to come out at E3. Now, what do we need to see, Peter? What has to happen at E3 in order to really close, to go back to one of the original code names and rumored names, to close the loop on this event?
Well, there's the exclusivity, obviously. Playability. I think you guys, the journalists, have to sit down and play these things. I doubt they'll be on the show floor. I think there has to be some form of shooter there, surely, and there's got to be a good slice of exclusivity. I bet you there's going to be a lot of tantalizing still. There's going to be a montage. It's going to be an amazing montage. Yeah. And we always remember with the Microsoft press briefing, they cannot help but have that closing, moment where the lights go up and then they go down again, and that's a big surprise.
And there's the Master Chief visor for Halo 5.
The Master Chief visor is there, and there's going to be one of those. I bet I'd be surprised if we didn't get some nod towards Gears.
So, real quick, go ahead, Destin.
So, there's one thing that Nintendo knew when they launched the NES. It wasn't about the box. It was about the software that can be played on the box.
Super Mario Brothers.
Yes, Microsoft needs to know this going into E3, that we want to see games now. You showed us the hardware. You showed us what it can do. Now show us how it works with the games.
And they have promised us games for E3. They have promised us nothing but games.
Yeah.
Quickly, are you guys cool with always online?
No.
No, not you. I know. just quickly. So a lot of thumbs up.
I'm always online anyway.
Yeah, everybody. Online. Dallas, no. Tell me why.
I mean, maybe it's just me, but other people have the same issue where our internet connection is a little shoddy sometimes.
Yep.
Like it'll mess up, and there's sometimes I just want to play a single player experience. I don't want to be connected. I don't want to have all these pop-ups where someone's coming online. I just want to play a single-player experience.
If it has to check once a day, as we're still working as of recording this podcast, we're still clarifying exactly what the deal is. Are you cool with it just checking online once a day? Not an always online scenario, but let's call it a regularly online scenario.
If there's a process, I would have a problem. But if it's like connected to Wi-Fi and it just checks without me doing anything, that's fine.
Which I'm sure it would be. So
it's interesting what you say, because I think some people, including myself, are getting confused that always online means that you have to play with other people. I would hate. Sometimes I just don't want other human beings to be involved in my gaming experience, and
most of the time.
Most of the time, and that shouldn't be confused, because I don't think anyone's suggesting there's never going to be single player games again.
No, I'm just thinking internet connection.
Yeah,
like how you may have an issue and you can't connect for a certain period, and you can't play at all, even if it's single player.
Quickly, Quentin.
Yeah. So the other side of that is for me, like, when I just moved not too long ago, the internet in my house wasn't set up yet.
Right.
Yeah.
My Xbox was in pieces. I didn't even bother to set it up. It was sitting there. I was like, screw it, I'll watch TV.
Yep.
Netflix on my phone. As soon as the internet got up, all right, time to set the Xbox up. I'm very social.
Yep.
But there's times and there's games that I won't play with anyone. Like NBA 2K, I play my player. Don't bother me.
Right.
I'm still connected to the Xbox.
Absolutely.
Because if there's any achievements, if there's any, especially with 2K, it talks to the servers a lot. Even though it's a single player experience, I'm still constantly communicating with their servers and with their online services. So it doesn't bother me personally. I can see where it can alienate some people, but I feel that Microsoft is too smart to give a leg up to Sony, because all Sony has to say is, well, we're not always online. You can plug it out with us, and that in and of itself will win over a ton of people. And they wouldn't do that.
All right, Dallas, real quick, and then we'll move on to the.
I just have a question. Like, why? I've heard different rumors. Like, they want to check and see if you're using a used game or a new game. Like, why would they go always online? What would be the purpose?
Well, Peter, you could probably answer that.
Well, other than that fact, which is a big issue, the used game issue is a huge issue, and that hasn't really been addressed by any of the conferences. How that is going to be addressed, because of course, a huge percentage of people that play games, the publisher doesn't get any of that revenue at all, and they want all that money. But that aside, the main thing is that nowadays we are really thinking of using this the cloud more and more. And what the cloud enables you to do is pump, complex tasks off to the cloud, get the cloud to do all the hard legwork, and then bring that down again. Now, if you have to do a special mode of game that doesn't use all that power out in the cloud, that's a huge amount of work. Mm-hmm. If for example, another example is that you're traveling through a world and it may be streaming from some server, assets which you haven't seen yet, and if all those assets have to be authored and put on a disc when the game's launched, that again is a very different space. So it becomes very messy to support both of these modes.
We do also know that games require installation, but you can play them as they're installing. So required install games, that's going to fill up that 500 gigs real quick, believe me. Zach, quickly.
So then when like a... Oh, sorry. when... Sorry.
All right, we'll come back to you.
So you don't think Always Online is actually just DRM?
I mean, if it was just DRM, that'd be just crazy.
Well, then
I can understand everybody getting very, very, very upset.
Then why do you only need to connect once a day?
I think that's a very interesting question, is why only once a day?
Because obviously you're not streaming anything if you're only connecting once a day. Is Always On... Like, maybe they're lucky people are calling it Always Online and not calling it what it really is, DRM protection.
Yeah, this is what we're going to find out, and this is where they're so careful with their words. You've got to be, you've got to think and look behind them. Even if you go once a day, I'm sure the hackers could get around that.
Oh yeah,
and that would be fairly easy to get around. It's going to be very interesting. What everyone needs to do, what all consumers really want, is to understand why you have to be online all the time. What are the benefits? What do I get out of it? And how does it make my gaming better? And if they just faced up and addressed that, then I don't think anyone would have an issue. But at the moment, always online equals DRM, which is no one wants at all.
Zach?
Exactly.
You know, you said that assets can be, like, for an always online game.
Yeah.
Assets
Get that mic nice and close, Zach. Thank
assets can be from the server streamed to the console, right? Meaning they're not on the disc.
Yeah.
Now, say they don't have to do that anymore. They just, it is an online-only console, and they do get to stream that. Yeah. Does that result in a higher graphic fidelity due to that, or does anything suffer?
I mean, you know, and this is me just kind of making this up on the spot, but when you think about, you know, what I love is a truly open world.
Yeah.
I'd love a world that I could go around and explore. The difficulty is if we are gamers and we chew through content at an amazing speed. You know, we can, it's great that you play Fable for 400 hours, by the way. We never thought people would play it for that long. But if we make something these days, the sort of length of experience we're making is probably about, 12 hours for a game? If that. It's coming down. And part of that problem is that we are forced to make everything for release. Now, if you can, continue making stuff after release, and instead of it being on a data disk, it is streamed down.
You're suggesting the merging of physical releases and DLC. Am I correct?
Well,
a blurring of those lines.
Here's the thing: I hate DLC. I hate it because I want my DLC the day I finish my game. I want to just carry on playing.
Yeah.
And the trouble with DLC is it always comes out like 12 weeks after I finish playing the game.
Yeah,
and then I have to kind of go back and where was I and what was I doing?
And then
Fallout 3 was the great example for me where I had blown through Fallout 3. I'd put in like 60 hours or whatever, and then DLC came out a couple months later. I was like, I'm done with this. I don't need to go back.
But probably if it hit you, the great, some of the. I don't want to say this because everyone will just flame the hell.
Don't do it then. Don't do it.
No, I will say it.
Oh, yes, all right.
But when you're playing Angry Birds, and you finish all the levels, there's some more levels you can download, and you download them.
Yeah,
that's going to cause it.
Not it seems to work for them.
Yeah. Sorry. So last thing for the group here. Let's say $4.99. Yes or no at launch. Collective, yes.
I don't think that'll be the price.
I'm throwing it out there. I'm going somewhere with this. $4.50 is $4.99. So nobody's like, hell no, $500 is too much. Nobody's saying that.
Come on, everyone in this room should say $2.99.
Microsoft listens to this.
Microsoft will listen to what consumers are going to think the proper price is. You're crazy if you're going to say $500.
$1.99, right, guys?
Yeah,
$1.99 or nothing.
Patrick, quickly.
I mean, someone who will be buying a PS4 when it launches,
it
would be nice if it was. If they do that subsidized thing that you guys have been talking about for a while, although we haven't seen evidence.
Yeah,
of that.
No evidence of that now.
But if whatever reason they did and they launched it at $2.99, I would totally eat that up.
So you would go $2.99 and then pay the $15 Xbox Live fee every month.
You pay more.
Yeah, I know, but initially, live as well. But you would be getting it live too, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, at $15 a month. Rather than,
it really depends on, especially if the content or like the games, especially if those games that whatever they're gonna be launching with will be very well.
So I have to. I'm very surprised. We're closing the show on this now. I'm very surprised that you were all so agreeable to $4.99. It's Callie. You all right? We had one dissenter in the room. Eric, okay, just quiet, and Peter. All right, so we're still a majority of folks, and we got a dozen people in this room, and the majority of them are willing to go $4.99 at launch. I'm a little surprised. Destin, how about you?
Well, I mean, if I'm speaking as a retailer, I would wait for a sale or a price drop at a point like $4.99, but because it's part of my job, I have to kind of get it.
Well, I know that.
But like, I waited for a PS3 until they said we're not making the 60 gigs anymore, and I'm like, well, I got to buy it because I want that backwards compatibility.
Well, that was a unique issue as well. That's we're not.
No, that's something I wanted.
Right.
And otherwise, I would have waited for a price drop. So launching at $4.99, it's a little high.
Yeah. All right. So
I think so.
That is the consensus.
Yeah.
So. What do we have?
Well,
Patrick,
I just want to say too. Yeah, that's true too. I mean, if they launched it at $2.99 no subscription, or like, yeah, I agree, $500's too high for me too. I'd probably buy a PS4 at 500, but not even actually. But what am I saying? Yeah, but like if it was at like 400, that would be like my perfect price point. Really, 400 would be like that sweet spot.
That's what 360 was.
Yeah, and then like maybe like have either a higher tier one or something like that, maybe, or whatever.
And just how much really expensive tech is in there to justify a point?
Well,
or are we all on the Xbox conference high at the moment?
What else do we have to buy? So I pay $4.99 for the console, right? Which is already too high. Then I got to pay $100 a month for cable. Because
well, you don't have to.
Well, you need the Comcast subscription to use all that stuff. You need Comcast. Then you got to pay for internet.
It's still a games
then you got to pay for
without
Xbox
the TV
Live
stuff, though.
You know, you have to have internet if the internet rumors are true. So you know, it's compiling expenses. So now you're looking at like an $800 console.
I think with Microsoft though, I think if they decide they wanted to launch at that price, the biggest thing is value.
Yeah.
At the very core, I don't care what you price it at. If they price this thing at 600, right?
Right.
Some people go, "Oh, I'd never buy anything at 600." But then what if the value made you go, "You know what?"
Right. Like
I'd buy this.
Like
at 600.
I didn't blink at spending $700 on my 32 gig iPad.
Yeah.
Because I use it and it offers that value to me.
So forget the price. If you can get good value, if something makes you go, dude, yeah, that's worth $600, that's worth $500, then it doesn't matter what the price point is. It's a matter of what they show us. And if, again, with seven more exclusives to be announced, new IP, man, if these are good IP, this thing might start getting real worth that $450, $500.
Right. Ross, real quick.
Yeah. To his point about creating value, I recognize that the gulf of improvement between this generation and the 360 won't be as great.
Correct.
As a big a leap, which the 360 was like $500, but it was a huge leap forward. I think it was $500.
$400 at launch, maybe Canadian dollars might have been $5 at the time.
$4.99 in Canada. Here we go again. Yeah. So
500 in kilometers. Let's put it that way.
Yes. But if Microsoft, I mean, what they need to do is innovate and create the value for me, and they have to give me things that I didn't even know I needed. Because right now there's no glaring omissions in my Xbox experience. There's nothing obvious on my wish list. And that's kind of like, random quote here, but Henry Ford said if I asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse before he invented the car. Microsoft has to show me things that I don't even know I want yet, and then I think that it'll be justifiable.
And it'll be something you can't live without.
And do you think the Xbox One does that? In its basic form, forget about the all the games that are going to be on it. Does it do it with the fast switching TV and the fancy league stuff? And does it give you something that you didn't know you wanted? That's a good question,
Peter. I think that it was impressive piece of hardware, but I'm more holding out for the software because I know you just said games notwithstanding, but I think that's a huge deal. Like I would like to see that. But that stuff could be cool, what they were showing. I'd have to see how it was implemented, and maybe there's going to be more opportunities down the line for developers to do a better job of implementing those things because everyone will have a Kinect out of the box. So there won't be a segmented market. So
that's interesting.
There might be better ways to take advantage of it in the future.
All right, Josh and Callie, and then we got to wrap up.
So far for me, it's a really fancy TiVo.
Yes.
So far.
Just really quick, I mean, I think there was a lot of good things that Microsoft really needed to differentiate what they had differently from what Sony has. So they had, they needed to show all these things, and they said beforehand that they were going to show the games at E3.
Yeah.
So I mean, just overall, I would just say, for all the people who have blown up on the internets right now, hold on, the games are coming. Don't be too rash on everything. I think that what they
rash?
I know. What are the odds? But I think overall, though, what they did show was very impressive, and they should be commended for what the stuff that they did show. It was good what they showed, so
right.
I was impressed with that.
Callie, you get the last word.
Oh God.
No pressure.
This goes back to value and what Destin was saying about the having to buy cable and the added cost of that. Like, I don't have cable, so if they're going to keep pushing it as like an entertainment box that also has games, that's not going to be valuable to me. I want a game box that does other things that I don't have to pay extra for. And so I think you're right about it being like what value you're going to take from it. Because for me right now, if they don't show me games that convince me, it's not worth the price for me because I'm not going to get all those extra cool features. The PS4 is offering me things that are of value to me. So it's going to come down to E3, I think. And I think Josh is right about not being too quick to bash the One or the PS4, depending on your leanings, because we are still waiting to see. They haven't launched yet. Like, calm down.
Right, well, if I were Jerry Springer, I would say this is my final thought. It is interesting, as the rumors all suggested that these two consoles, the Xbox One and the PS4, were going to be almost the same. They were going to really be the HD twins this time around. But it's interesting, Peter. Tell me if you agree, and we'll wrap up. That clearly they are going down different roads here, and these are going to be two fairly different console ecosystems and two fairly different machines. And buying one and buying is going to be very different than buying the other.
It's
for better or for worse.
Yeah, it's interesting. After the Microsoft conference, I like the PlayStation conference more. Because their love of gaming and core gaming, and they're insistent about it's all about sharing stuff between gamers. So maybe we're going to get the ultimate geeky gaming console versus the ultimate TV living room experiences that can make games, and that is different. It is different from where we are.
Well, I want to thank Quentin, I want to thank Ross, Dallas, Eric, Josh, Zach, Callie, and Patrick, all for coming out from various parts of California, Texas, and the other countries, as well as including, speaking of other countries, especially England. I want to thank Peter Molyneux. Peter, thank you so much for coming out and spending a couple days with us here at IGN in San Francisco. You've added an immeasurable amount of wisdom, of insight and perspective to this Xbox One reveal event. And
let's be honest, charm.
It's true. I could listen to this
guy. You realize all this means the death of a lot more small animals when I go back to my hotel.
Yeah, I mean, I could listen to Peter. Just say, give me one more absolutely before we go.
Absolutely.
Yes. Destin Legary, thank you. You can follow Destin at Destin Legary on Twitter. Peter Molyneux, you can follow him at P Molyneux. That's MOLYNEUX. And I am at DMC_Ryan. And of course, at IGN will get you your regular games and entertainment news headlines tweeted at you all day, every day. So thanks, everybody, for coming. This is the Xbox One era has now begun. The Xbox 360 era will not immediately shut down, but it will slowly. This is the beginning of it coming down out of the sky and heading for the horizon to set here in the next year or two. So thanks to everybody for coming out. Keep listening to Podcast Unlocked, as most of you do, via the free iTunes subscription. We're also on the Zune Marketplace, or I guess I keep saying it's Xbox Music. I don't know why I keep saying this. This is old habit, Zune Marketplace. So for our Podcast Unlocked fans, as well as Destin and Peter Molyneux, I'm Ryan McCaffrey, and we will see you guys next week.
That was awesome.
All right.
Great. Good job, Ryan.
Thank you guys for letting us be in here. That was a lot of fun.
Great.